What is up guys, Maxi from BluffTheSpot, and this is your Poker News Dose. And now, the headlines. Landon quits heads-up match against Bill Perkins. Daniel Negreanu finally ends his 8-year-long championship drought. Duck Polk, Bill Perkins and Kenney hammer out heads-up match deals. The 2+2 forum has been sold. And finally, is Dan Bilzerian better than Duck Polk? And now, the news and details. 22-year-old high-stakes pro Landon conceded his heads-up challenge against millionaire businessman and recreational high-stakes player Bill Perkins, forfeiting a 6-figure sum in the process. Landon tweeted that he was going to surrender the match and give Perkins the victory. Earlier this year, the two agreed to play 20,000 hands of 200-400 no-limit hold'em on America's Card Room. The challenge got underway several months later in early June. Unlike other challenges between two pros, Landon gave his opponent a handicap of 9 big blind per 100 hands played. It essentially meant that Landon would need to win $720,000 over the course of 20,000 hands before he could earn a profit. When called it quits, the duo had played 12 sessions and a total of 4,907 hands. He was winning $63,720 at the time, but that only equated to a win rate of 3.25 big blind per 100 hands. He was still losing $112,680 thanks to the handicap. In a tweet where he posted his graph of the result for the challenge, said that there was a $200,000 side bet which he also forfeits to Bill Perkins. Between the side bet and the big blinds, he spotted Perkins, which would be paid out proportionally to how many hands they played and not the entire 720,000 hands. and his backers lost $312,680 in the process. Perkins was coached by high-stakes cash game pro MJ Gonzalez. Despite winning the side bet and the match, Bill Perkins said that was likely a big favorite before the match began. He went on to credit Gonzalez and his coaches for turning him into a strong player in just 3 months of play. Daniel Negreanu is arguably one of the most well-known poker players in the world, but the 6-time WSOP bracelet champion hasn't won a single title since 2013, a fact which he changed recently this month when he took down event number 7, the $50,000 no-limit hold'em of the 2021 PokerGo Cup. And Daniel entered the final day's play 3rd in chips among 5 finalists and single-handedly eliminated all 4 of his opponents, eventually defeating David Coleman heads-up to clinch the title. With this victory, Negreanu added $700,000 to his live tournament earnings that have now reached $43 million. Negreanu's last victory before this was in the $25,000 high roller event at the 2013 WSOP Europe. As Negreanu said, it's not like he hasn't had success in the past 8 years. He just has not claimed the trophy. He did win Sharkade Season 2 in 2015 for nearly $1 million, but that was an invitational and not an open to all comers. That said, this tournament was not big in the field size sense of the word. There were only 35 players, so statistically, Daniel had a much better chance to win than he would in, say, any given WSOP event. But at the price point, the field was jam-packed with top-notch competition, so while there were fewer minefields, those mines were much more lethal. Duck Polk and Bill Perkins are two poker personalities never far from conversations surrounding prop bets or heads-up challenges. You would think that when it comes to playing a heads-up challenge of their own, these two would be raring to go. Well, while they do seem to be interested in playing a heads-up challenge, the only hiccup is that they just can't seem to agree on the terms. Duck Polk, who moved from Las Vegas to Austin, Texas earlier this year, made it clear that he was down to play. Perkins wanted a 6 big blind per 100 hands handicap, but those terms simply weren't going to fly with a smarter gambler like Duck Polk. Duck Polk wants to lay 3 big blind per 100 instead. Perkins responded to the tweet by letting Polk know that he's having a difficult time finding side action at the price he desires. If the match does happen, it would not be the first time Duck Polk and Perkins would be getting on opposite sides of the poker table. In fact, They had faced each other once before in the late-night heads-up match in May. Perkins ended up losing $250,000 to the heads-up specialist back then. But if Perkins' performance in the Tice heads-up challenge is anything to go by, Perkins has come a long way since May in both form and heads-up strategy. A fact that even Polk, arguably one of the best no-limit hold'em players in the world, acknowledged. On the other side, Bryn Kenney has agreed in principle to face Doug Polk in a match, but not the format originally suggested. Polk is only interested in deep stack cash games, while Bryn Kenney wants a faster paced tournament format with the winner taking all. Bryn Kenney didn't want anything to do with Doug Polk's 501,000 over 25,000 hand suggestion, but angled to get the community behind him by suggesting a $1 million winner take all match where 20% goes to charity. Of course, this sounds very reasonable, but it's likely just a ruse to get the poker community on his side, pressurizing Polk to accept a format where he won't be a heavy favorite, or indeed not a favorite at all. Doug Polk was quick to suss out that Bryn Kenney was angling for public sympathy by bringing a charity donation into the argument. He points out that he's only after Kenney's money and not interested in the betterment of society. Bryn Kenney insists that it's not fair to fit a month-long match into his already busy schedule, particularly just as live poker in the US is starting to take off once again. He says that a one-day show will be good for the fans, especially as it will be high stakes. A day after offering a challenge on his terms, Kenney tried to rile Polk with the standard trope of calling him a coward. Doug Polk surprisingly admitted that he isn't rich enough to be effectively flipping for $1 million and counter-insulted Kenney by saying it's him who is scared to play a real format because he's a complete dolt. The 2+2 Poker Forum is the most popular online forum for poker players across the globe. 2+2 now has a new owner and the global poker community is just finding out. News of its sale first broke following an announcement by co-founder Mason Malmuth, who said that the site will be taken over by younger people to further improve it and make it better than it ever was before. Mason also revealed that 2+2 will now fall under new management of a software company called Hand2Note HUD. Andrei Plakoitny, founder of Hand2Note, recently created a new thread on the forum and revealed his future plans for 2+2. Andrei intends to incorporate AI into the platform, focusing on user growth and creating a bigger community of poker pros around the world. The site will also be hosted on 2plus2.com instead of the current forumserver.2plus2.com. Following the announcement of the sale, the new owners immediately introduced new changes to the site, including the removal of all banner ads. The site's marketplace will no longer have restrictions so that everyone can use it for free. A lot of members in the poker community were curious to know how much the popular 2+2 Poker Forum was sold for. However, neither Mason Malmuth nor Andrei have disclosed the exact amount of the deal. And lastly, Doug Polk isn't shy about putting his opinions of other poker players out on the world. One player who's often been on the lower end of the skill spectrum, according to Doug Polk, is Dan Bilzerian. Bilzerian reiterates how he's made much more money than Doug Polk from poker and that Polk might be some sort of an online guru and jerks off with solvers, but so what? In a recent interview, Veronica Brill inquires if Bilzerian thinks he can compete against the top pros today, and he says no, before adding it that it's not what he's aiming to do. He also points out that he's sure he's as smart as any of those guys and could probably do it if he wanted to. So those were the news and poker events from the month of July. If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.